20 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and young guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on what is a beautiful, not beautiful, let's go partly cloudy, Monday in Nashville, Tennessee. However, given the fact that it is late in November, temperatures in the upper 60s, we got nothing to complain about. First of all, short week with Thanksgiving coming. We will not be on with you either Thursday or Friday, which will make your holiday a lot more cheerful. Speaking of things that will not make you cheerful, we now begin the show as we do each and every day during football season with our daily Titans update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen. So dial her up, 615-969-4350. Let's say hello to Terry McCormick, Main Street Media. Terry, first of all, in the wake of yesterday, what's the injury situation?
Well, a couple of guys were in the Terrell Edmonds was in the concussion protocols from an injury he suffered yesterday. So the other guys who were in that, obviously Traylon Burks and Andre Dillard, both still in that concussion protocol. And then the other thing, this also dealing with the offensive line, as is Andre Dillard. Chris Hubbard went down with an elbow injury. Vrabel said he's going to miss some time. So that means that it's probably going to be Jalen Duncan getting a long look at right tackle.
Terry, for the first time, Mike Vrabel is starting to hear, job security talk. And in truth, they have lost, if my math is right, 14 of their last 17, which means they are 3 out of their last 17. Do you think there's anything serious to it? Do you think Amy is starting to wonder what the hell's going on? Give me some thoughts there.
I don't think he's in serious trouble right now, George. I think that you look at where they've missed in the draft the last 2 or 3 years, maybe before this season. And I think some of this was probably, you could see it coming when you miss on so many high draft picks, especially from 2020, 2021, and 2022. So I think some of this is to be expected. Now, that said, the day is going to be coming really soon, probably next season, that if this thing isn't turned around and isn't improved, then you might see Mike Vrabel on the hot seat and having to answer for why this thing hasn't improved. But they've got a lot of cap space and they'll have the draft. So he's going to get a chance to fix this, even though he didn't make all of it. Obviously, John Robinson was complicit in that with him. He's going to get a chance, I think, to fix this before he really falls on the hot seat.
Terry, for the time being, the Titans and the NFL did them no favors in this. Their schedule is backloaded with a bunch of home games that may well be attended by a witness protection program. Is there any real reason to believe this can get any better this year?
No, not really. I don't think this is going to improve a whole lot. I think what you look for at this point is the development of Will Levis to see if he can be a franchise quarterback. I mean, you're evaluating him. He's got a strong arm. He's got some mobility. If you're the Titans, it's going to be hard to get a true read on what he is because the protection is so bad. And outside of DeAndre Hopkins, there aren't a lot of good weapons to throw to. So I think you just kind of have to assess it as best you can And you have to hope that he turns more into Josh Allen than he does into Daniel Jones as you go through this process of trying to see what type of quarterback he can be. I think you'll get a true read on that next year once they've had a chance to replenish the roster somewhat. And then the other thing is you use these 7 games not only to develop Will Levis, but to see how many of these other young guys can play and maybe be a part of things going forward. But this roster is going to need a complete overhaul. And I think in the offseason, maybe some of the coaching staff maybe needs an overhaul as well.
Terry, what do they got? 7 remaining games? Man, this
Yes.
is where you earn your pay, because there is nothing fun about what's going on with them right now. Not only are they bad, they're boring, and that's a bad combination. But to be in that situation, even though most of these guys are getting paid pretty well, this is still a rough 7 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it gets, hard to punch the clock, I guess, as they say. But, it's a situation where, guys now, you go from playing for something in terms of trying to make the postseason or win a division, things like that, to just playing for your own livelihood. Their guys over this next 7 weeks, they've got to show that a reason that they need to be here. If not with the Titans, with somebody else. The guys who are impending free agents have got to show that they deserve to be on an NFL roster somewhere else. The guys who are under contract, they need to show that they're competent enough to contend for a starting position so that they're not replaced in next year's draft or in free agency.
Terry, we'll kind of leave it there unless you've got anything else that you want to get out there. If not, we'll adjourn and do it again tomorrow.
No, we'll leave bad enough alone right there, George.
Okay, sounds good, Terry. Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that absolutely can happen at 615-969-4350. Okay, let's head to Murfreesboro, say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, you have been stuck in this kind of position before where a team's going absolutely nowhere, and yet the end of the season is nowhere in sight. How hard is this?
It's hard, George. It's hard to stay focused, man. You got a job to do, but you have to understand that you're a professional football player, and you're not going anywhere as a team, but individually, you have to still play. You have to keep playing, because if you're up for free agency or if you're able to go somewhere, you want to put the best product of yourself out on the field. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it's a team game up until a certain point, and then when it becomes like it is right now, where I was thinking outside, I was walking around, I was thinking, here's a situation right here where the defense is not playing very good anymore either. At the beginning of the year, I thought they had some dudes up front, and I still think they do. They've got some dudes up front with Jeffrey Simmons and the Autry kid and the Arden Key and all those guys that they were able to rush the passer. But is this offense productivity is starting to affect them? And I've seen that happen, where they just know that it doesn't matter what we do. The offense is not really good enough to win us any games. And if we don't play good and we don't hold people under a certain amount of points, we're probably not going to win the game. So, George, it's a tough deal to be in, but you're still a professional. You got to go out there and you got to play. People are paying to come watch you play. And that's just what you have to do. You have to think about yourself at this time, saying, hey, if I'm going up for free agency, I want to put the best product of myself on film so all 31 teams can see it. And then if I have the opportunity to go somewhere else, so be it.
Hold on to that offense and defense thought, because I'm going to bring it up when we get Watson on and have Watson's Titans analysis. Billy, good weekend?
Good weekend. Yep. Not a good weekend for Jets fans, though, as their struggles got even worse somehow against quite frankly, a Bills team that was kind of struggling of their own, but they put up, over 30 points on them. They got back on track. But first note of the update, Zach Wilson has been benched. So they're going to start Tim Boyle at quarterback, who I had to kind of think back. I totally forgot he was even in the league on an NFL roster, but he did play a little bit yesterday. So I don't really know what to make.
Good luck to
I mean,
Tim.
I'm guessing it's just, hey, see if Tim's any better. Because for the
He,
Jets
he
right
actually,
now.
when he was in there yesterday, he actually looked pretty good. I think he played at Eastern Kentucky. So he looks the part. He's got a live arm. He looks like he hangs in there. Like I feel so bad for Zach Wilson, man. You
I
look
do
at his
too.
eyes, and he just does not look like he wants this anymore. And that's a bad spot to be in. His confidence is totally gone. And I was talking with my wife last night. We were watching the game, and I've been in situations like that where the confidence is a very fluctuating scale. Sometimes you're high, sometimes you're low. You want to stay kind of even, but man, he does not look like he wants to be there anymore. And I just, I feel for the guy because I've been in situations like that, and it's hard.
Billy, it does look like he is basically giving you the face where he'd like to fly one of those helicopters over the stadium and say, please come and get me.
Yeah. What happened to the guy, the BYU stud quarterback who everybody, was excited? It's just, there's none of that really anymore. I know this is the NFL, but it's almost like that is gone. Yeah.
Well, here's the sobering thing, okay? Offensive line of the Jets looks a little like the Titans.
Yeah.
Were they really going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers?
Mm.
Aaron might
That's
have
why he
been
got
done.
hurt at the beginning of the year. I mean, he was kind of running for his life the first couple of plays, and they've got some skill guys, but like up front, we both know this. We talk about this every day. Up front is where the games are won, and they're not very good either.
Nope.
Tonight, Eagles Chiefs, best Monday night game of the year. KC favored by 2.5.
We will have a selection on that, Kelly. I know you breathlessly await that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
In college, there was another brutal injury. Wilson, he just got benched, but Jordan Travis.
Oh gosh.
Just you hate seeing it. I mean, in a social media post today, he thanked everyone for their thoughts and prayers since the injury. He was tackled at the end of a run. His left leg bent back awkwardly, and you knew it right away. But you hate it for him. You hate it for their team because they've got slim odds now. Now that they got a chance. They got to beat Florida, and then they got to win the ACC title. But without Jordan Travis, that sounds tough.
Well, I think it's more than that. I think it's more, what does the committee think? Because it's sort of, Kelly, in their hands more than it is in Florida State's. Now, if FSU goes out and loses to a Florida or ACC title game against Louisville, that'll take care of it. But if they win and it's close, what does the committee do?
I think you got to keep them in, George. I really do. Until if they go about it, they beat Florida and they win the ACC championship. I mean, they've done nothing wrong. So I don't know what did he end up doing. I know that he severely dislocate his ankle, or did he break it, or what did he do, Billy?
Intentionally, I have not looked at it. I'm a bit of a wuss.
Yes, I saw it. It actually looked like my daughter's ankle when she dislocated hers, man. And that's the first thing that popped into my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even really think
I don't know. It looks like he's gonna.
It just looks like he had an air castle on his left leg, taken to the hospital. But I mean, it was pretty clear that ankle. Yeah. You hate it for him.
He's not coming back anytime soon. That's for sure.
No, and he was out of it. He's out of eligibility too. I want to say so. Hopefully, it's kind of the Hendon Hooker situation. Same time last year, Hooker, of course, had to battle through, and he probably can't play this year. I don't know if he's healthy or not, but I mean, you're right, Kelly. That's it's almost a whole year, right, of football you're missing. So obviously, we'll keep track of Travis and see what happens there. Right now, we got some college basketball. Syracuse leads Tennessee 24-21 in the first half there in the Maui Invitational. This Maui field, by the way, is insane. Purdue, Gonzaga also in it. You've also got UCLA, Marquette, Kansas is in it. So early season hoops. I know George loves that.
Well, let me say this. If you have to broadcast early season hoops, Maui is the place to be. Kelly, I've been out there with two basketball teams over the years. I may not have enjoyed the flights, but man, when you get there, it is heaven on earth.
It's not a bad place to vacation, that's for sure.
Oh, it's amazing.
Also tonight, Preds gotta find a way back on track here. Although, did they beat the Blackhawks Saturday?
They did.
Okay, they found a way Saturday.
Looking for 2 in a row, and it won't be easy against Colorado.
No, Colorado tonight. That is a 7:00 puck drop. So that'd be a big win for the Preds.
Oh, listen, it'd be a Thanksgiving gift if they can get it.
It sure would. What does their week look like? They got
Monday, Wednesday at home, Friday in St. Louis, and I want to say Saturday back here.
So not much of a Thanksgiving break.
No. Thank goodness ours is a little more established.
As Tom Moore used to tell us this time of year, he would always say, "I love all these holidays, but they come at the wrong time of the year."
Kelly, did you get many Thanksgivings off? Like how many? I mean, were you able to go back or no?
I mean, we were always
Coach, I'm going home for a couple of days. I'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah,
it doesn't quite work that way.
It doesn't work like that. I was just
when
I
say
first
off,
came in the
but
league.
Like, did y'all ever get practice off or anything? Like, were y'all always?
It's been so long ago, Billy, that I'm not even sure. I think we probably had a morning. I think we always had morning practices, and then we were home by lunchtime to do the Thanksgiving stuff. But I was just, when I was a rookie, of course, nobody tells you about go pick up the turkey at Wegmans or go pick up the turkey at Publix, and then they got a camera in there, and then the next day you come in and they're like, you take it home and you realize that you've been got, so I didn't do that. I actually went to the store and I looked around because I had a feeling something was going on, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm glad I didn't.
This is not Kelly's first rodeo.
No.
I like it.
That's all I got.
Okay, by the way, in that KC game tonight, cold, a lot of wind, like 20, 25 miles per hour, little touch of winter in the air at Old Arrowhead, which will be hopping.
Yes,
it always
is.
You've been to Arrowhead, haven't you?
Yeah, that's now I haven't been to the new stadium, but the old stadium was by far the loudest outdoor stadium that I'd ever been in, man. Like you could not hear. I had to get down on my knee, and all the dudes had to kind of bend down to hear the cadence and to hear the play, because you could not hear when those people started yelling and screaming, man. It's an unbelievable place to play, man. But if you go in there as an opponent, it's tough to play.
Yeah. EAGLES will figure that out tonight. 7:15 for that one. We'll go to the break. When we come back, Watson Brown will join us, and we will ask the question, can this truly get any better in 2023? Hang with us.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Well, as all of you know, the Titans went to Jacksonville yesterday and laid another one of their stink bombs. This is the third time they have gone on the road this year and not been the least bit competitive. In fact, I think we've got a graphic that'll show you the three that I'm talking about. When they went to Cleveland, they didn't get 100 yards of total offense. It was awful. A week ago in Tampa, really not very competitive. And then truthfully, this thing was over about midway through the third quarter, and the final score really is not indicative of how much Jacksonville dominated. When the Titans go on the road, you don't know what you're getting. Okay, with that in mind, Coach Watson Brown joins us. Watson Brown's Titans analysis brought to you by the folks at Pilkerton Realty. Watson, I'm going to start out with this and get both you and Kelly to talk about it. So the NFL did them no favors in that they backloaded a bunch of their schedule between now and the end of the year. 5 of the last 7 are at home. Can this get any better?
Well, in the NFL, I mean, you can get beat real bad one week and come back and win the next. I see it all over the league. The league is so equal, and there's not that big a difference. But so I'll never say it can't get better. They're pretty much done as far as having any shot to get into the playoffs. That's for sure, because they're in last place. And they do have 5 of their last 7 at home. The 2 road games are tough. They've got to go to Miami and play the Dolphins, and they've got to go to Houston and play the Texans. That's 2 tough games. They can get back on track this week for sure. They get to play the Panthers, and everybody's took them to the cleaners. And yeah, we just see the same thing, and there's so much work to be done with this team, George. I worry a little bit about our quarterback. He is just getting the food knocked out of him. I see him a little more antsy in this one than I saw in the first one. I think he gets a little bit more that way. That's no knock on him. You get hit like he gets hit, and you're a quarterback. It's tough. I remember having a picture in my sophomore year, the week after we beat Alabama, and I'm sacked, and there are 9 Georgia bodies on me. There's 9 Georgia people in the picture. And it's hard, man. It's hard. And I'm sure Kelly tasted that in the NFL. He may not have tasted it much at middle because he was on good teams, but it's hard. It's really hard. So I worry about our young quarterback just week after week, what he's going through. And it's just sad watching us. This thing, man, has it gone down fast. They put up a graphic during the game. I know you saw it, where it had us 7-3 and Jacksonville 3-7 last year.
Yep.
And they beat us that day, and then went and then look at the record since that game. And it's unbelievable how far we've fallen.
Yeah, it's 14 of the last 17 on the wrong side. Kelly, is there any thought of giving Will Levis a 1-week break from this at any point, or do you just say, look, big fella, it's all yours, deal with it?
No, I think he's got to go. Although I am like Coach, those hits start piling up a little bit. And yesterday he took off running one time, and I was sitting at home, and it looked like he hurt his leg a little bit, and he was limping a little bit. So, yeah, he's getting hit quite a bit, George. I don't know if you can truly evaluate what he's doing right now. It's tough because they just are not very good. I'm just shocked to understand. Just there's so many guys around him. It's hard to operate like that. Coach knows that. I mean, it's hard to operate when you've got people breathing down your neck. And I was kind of ignorant to the fact, like I would just hang in a pocket, and I used to get just murdered sometimes. And that when you're a quarterback, that's what you have to live with at some point in your career. But man, he's getting killed. It's hard to take pressure off of him. They can't run the ball and give him a good running game where you can rely on it as a quarterback. Because if you got a good running game, then it takes a lot of the pressure off the quarterback. And right now, they're just all over the place. They're not very good. As you see right there, there's a snap over his head. There's just no consistency whatsoever going on the offensive side of the football. I mean, they used a trick play to score one of their touchdowns, which was, hey, he threw that ball nice, but it's hard to get an evaluation of him because he's running for his life, and that's right there. That's where he got hurt. You can tell right there. I mean, it looked like he tweaked his knee a little bit. So George, he's in a tough spot right now, but I think you have to ride with him until, hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but he needs this experience to understand the bad times, and hopefully in the near future, there'll be some good times for him.
And by the way, the trick play thing, this is a fan speaking. Give me the trick play while the game is still up for grabs. Don't give me this crap when you're 34-7 down that, now we're going to toss it around. It's one of my pet peeves with Vandy is, they'll open it up when they're down 38-14, but give me that stuff. If you've got something that will get you cheap points or cheap yards, show it to me when it's still in doubt, when it matters. Don't give me that crap when you're 34-7. Okay, there's my little soapbox.
Yeah, and I agree with that, George, but I'd agree with it in a different way.
Okay.
When you've got a trick play like that and the game's over, they're down 27-0 at that point, and you've got a trick play, why use it right there? Save it for the next game.
Seriously.
I just, why did you throw it to Simmons down there when you're down 34-7? Just save that. Save it for the next game. The game's over. So I look at it a little different as a coach. Just, you've been working on that play, man. That's going to be a good play for you somewhere. If you haven't used it when it's in the heat of the battle and it's still a game, don't use it then. It made me feel like, oh, man, we got to come up with some yards here. It's going to look real bad at the end. You lose, you lose. You win, you win. I've been in a bunch of them close losses in my career. It don't mean a damn hill of beans. And at the end of the year, it's a W or an L, man, and they don't care who you played. At the end of the year, it's 7 W's and 4 L's, or it's 4 W's and 7 L's, or whatever it is. They don't care who you play at that point. Or, oh, man, we played Alabama to the wire. Oh, okay, what's on your list there? It's got L by your name. And I don't know why they did that. I would have saved that for this week because they need to win a game bad. I would have used it against the Panthers instead of when they did.
Kelly, you brought up earlier, and I want you to talk to Watson about this. Are the offensive woes starting to take a toll on the defense? Kind of run with that.
Well, Coach, I was talking. I was outside today, and I was thinking about some stuff because I knew we were going to be talking about Titans. And I've been in situations like this when I was with the Browns where we weren't very good on offense. And I've been in other situations on other teams where you're just not very good offensively, and defensively they're pretty good, but they understand that if we don't hold teams to under 14 points, we have no shot of winning. And I just started thinking that seems like where the Titans are. Like I thought early in the season, I thought defensively they were okay. They were getting pressure on people. They were sacking people. They weren't getting their secondary. You know, the secondary is not great, but if you got a good pass rush and you got a good front seven that can get pressure on people, the DBs don't have to be outstanding. They still got to cover some people. But when you can't get any pressure on people, it's starting to show up just how bad the DBs are right now. But it takes a toll when you know as a team that, hey, offensively, we're just not very good and we can't score points. And it's tough for a defense to keep doing what they're doing over and over. They get to the point where they start losing, and it's like what's this for? Like, we're not going to win the game. It starts taking a toll not only on the offense, but it really starts taking a toll on the defense, because I thought to begin with they were okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kelly. Most all my career, it was the opposite with me. We were always good on offense and struggled on defense. And that one don't hurt you as bad because you always think you can catch up, and you know that. But when it's the other side, when they know they're just, the points are already past them. We can't score that many points the rest of this week on offense. And I think it does wear on a defense. It hurts a defense more when the other side's not good than it hurts an offense. And the other thing, Kelly, with that is they're 3 and out, they're 3 and out, they're 3 and out. They turn it over on a punt. They turn it over in one play. And look at the number of play differences in that Florida Sun. I think it also wears on them physically, that they're just having to play so many plays because the offense just absolutely can't make. They didn't make a first down forever. I mean, it was just tough on them. So yeah, I think you're right. I was on 2 really good defenses at UAB. We were in the top 10 in the country 2 years in a row, and not as good on offense. And I can now think back to where there were games that we get down 17, and I think the defense just thought, man, we can't catch up now. So it wears on you mentally. It wears on your soul, your heart, because you've laid so much into it. So I think you got a very good point there.
So let me try a couple of more things on you all. Let me bring up the topic of Derrick Henry, because what I see is Derrick Henry has no chance. The minute he gets it, boom. Do you all see anything different? Is there, in your mind, obvious slippage in his game, or is it just simply what I see, which is who could run behind this?
I will say it like Kelly just said it about the quarterback. I mean, I don't know, because he's getting no opportunities, no chance. He can't hardly get back to the line of scrimmage. If he gains 3 yards, we clap. We used to be disappointed when he'd gain 3 yards. And this offensive line, and they're not very good blockers at tight end, and the combination of both, the offensive line's killing the quarterback. I think the offensive line's killing Derrick. I don't know myself, George and Kelly, why they don't just throw play action pass more than they do. They still got everybody up there because of Derrick. I mean, everybody, even though he's not gaining any yards, again, the other day, they had them all up there. You know exactly what the coverage is. There's one safety sitting in the middle of the field. There's 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, sometimes 9 if we got 2 tight ends in there. So it's just not fair to Derrick. And I see Derrick wilting some. His spirit is fading a little bit. And how would it not? I mean, he's still, in his mind, he's still in the prime of his time. And this is killing him. And I think it's killing the locker room. These guys are not losers. They want to win. I do think they try hard. And man, when you're trying your guts out and you don't win, and I've been on teams with that, when you're trying your guts out and you don't win, it hurts 10 times more because you know you're putting everything you got into it and they're just not getting anything in return.
Kelly,
Georgia, and what I was going to say is people don't understand. I heard somebody talk the other day. I think it was the Michigan coach, the guy that's stepping in for Harbaugh as the head coach. Yeah, the offensive coordinator. He talked about just how much time you put, and people don't understand that. I mean, you see it on Hard Knocks, but people don't understand the amount of time that these guys put into it, like working out, keeping their bodies in shape, watching film, studying the game plan, staying hydrated, staying up on their nutrition. There's a lot that goes into it. And then when you're not seeing anything happen on the field, with all the amount of work that they're putting in, it's really frustrating, George. It really is, because people truly don't understand the time and the effort that it takes just to win one football game. And when you are slipping like they are and they feel like they have no chance, that's a tough spot to be in.
What it feels like now is that a little bit of the Will Levis, the honeymoon, the excitement about it is kind of going down the drain with 2 stink bomb performances on the road, and it's just back to the same old boring, bad Titans. And this is just, Watson, this is the thing I worry about. You got 5 home games from here to the end of the year, most of which will be in much more difficult weather. I don't see their home crowd being all that much help.
No, I watch a lot of these NFL teams. There's a few that it's not that way, but if they're not doing well, the crowds fall off. So you can just promise ours is no different, and I think that will happen, George. But you just like to think that we start. I think we got 4 out of 5 at home, and then 5 out of 7. So you'd like to think we can win some of these, and we get a little more positiveness within the players. But when you have Jeffrey Simmons saying, "I'm tired of talking about getting better, it's time to win games," and Derek saying that, it's wearing on them. And I think what happens in our society is, because I've always said athletics is a microcosm of the world we live in. And immediately when you start losing, there's a bunch of losers. And that's not the case. And when you're losing, it's hard to come out and say we got a bunch of winners on this team because nobody wants to hear it. So as a coach, you got to be careful. But when you know your players are giving you what they got, I think they are. I don't see the Titans laying down. I haven't seen it in a game where I just felt like Cleveland a little bit. But now that I'm seeing Cleveland, they're pretty daggum good.
Yep.
And that defense may be the best defense in the NFL right now, maybe the best. And so Cleveland may have been a lot better than we thought when we played them then. But I just think that's not a bunch of losers in that locker room, and they're wanting help in some way. They want to figure, how can we win? What can we do here to win? And I feel the same way about Mike. I think he's working his fanny off, and he's trying his best, and he's frustrated that he can't figure out how to win games, because when we were winning, George and Kelly, back 3 years ago when we were really winning and won the division and were number 1 seed, we were winning a lot of close games, and Mike was figuring out how to win those close games. And now it's the opposite, and a lot of them aren't even close now. So I feel for all of them. I just hope and pray they can get it turned around and keep fighting, have the good attitude the best they can, and start winning some of these games, because I think it would help them a bunch. And they might get better quick if they just started winning a game or two.
Kelly, let me end it this way. The fan in me really admires the fact that Derrick Henry has not requested a trade, at least that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
If he has, it certainly hasn't gotten out. I don't think anybody could blame him if he said, hey, I've only got this much tread left on the tire. I don't want to waste it on this crap. I don't think anybody would blame him, but I admire the fact that at least up till now, we've not heard that.
I go back to the fourth down play that they had yesterday where he got the ball and he was not going to be denied. He still got it in him. There's no, I don't think there's any question. He's still got years left in him. But like you said, you know, he wants to win football games. And as a running back, you don't have a very, I mean, there's not a lot of time in the National Football League. I mean, you look at Jim Brown, you look at all those guys. I mean, he played for 9 years. There's not many Emmitt Smiths around where he's got, you know, Walter Payton. They make it for that big longevity of a period of time. I mean, you know, you've got to look, and you can understand how he would be selfish about that and say, I just don't want to be part of this. But I think that speaks a lot to his character. But I still think he's got something left in the tank. I really do. But right now, it looks like he's totally deflated. You watch him, like when he gets the ball, there are guys in the backfield before he gets to the line of scrimmage, and it's a tough spot to be in. But you got to give it to him because he's not belly aching about that. He understands. But you know, I'm with you, George. Like if I'd played for a long time and then, you know, we're this bad right now, man, it would be hard pressed for me not to say, is there somewhere else I can go maybe to use my skills? Because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this, or know how much longer I'm going to be play at this elite level. And you know, this team that's around me right now, they're just not good enough, George. You look at it, they're just not good enough to win many football games. And with Carolina coming in here and they lose that, man, there's going to be a lot of pressure on Vrabel.
Yes. Watson, I wish we had more that we really needed to analyze, but it's so obvious where they are right now. So about all I can do is kind of throw up my hands and say, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. We'll do it again next Monday.
Well, and the last thing with you, this is Derek's last year, right? Him and Ryan both. So it'll be interesting to see when the year's over, if he goes to be a free agent or what happens from there. It'll be real interesting to see. He can't be traded now, right? It's too late.
Right. Deadline's over.
So the deadline's over, so he's a Titan for the rest of the year. But it'll be real interesting to see, and to see what the Titans do. To see if they want to pay him the good money or they're not willing to do that. So there's going to be some real question marks coming as this year dwindles its way down.
You are right about that. Watson, happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy, guys. Talk to you.
See you next Monday. Watson Brown joining us after the break. More NFL talk, more than maybe you can stand, but stick around. It'll be fun.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458, or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, for what it's worth, I have gotten the chance in the last 6 days to watch the Denver Broncos twice. And Kelly, I got to admit, I'm shocked. The worst defense in the league, where Miami racked up a big 70, suddenly is pretty darn good. And I'm sitting there going, how? I mean, obvious improvement in the last 6 weeks. And the other thing is, Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, I thought would end up in a 15-round heavyweight title fight where they just have it out in front of everybody some night, you know, when Peyton would get pissed off and Russell Wilson would finally say, I've had enough of it, and they'd go at each other. But watching them last night, they've become a really solid football team.
Yeah, they've turned it around. That's kind of unbelievable. Like, as a coach, I know it's his first year, but like when you get a 70 spot put up on you, that doesn't happen ever in the National Football League, and you've won 4. I think last night was their 4th straight win. They beat Kansas City. They beat Buffalo, and now they won last night. They're playing really well, and Russell Wilson, he's kind of balled in. He doesn't look like the Russell Wilson that we saw in Seattle throwing the ball down the field, but Sean Payton is kind of, he's gotten him in the ropes, and he's gotten him to buy in. Hey, we got to run the ball some. We've got to do some play action passes. And Russell Wilson still got it. He can still move around, and defensively, man, they're getting turnovers, and that's what they weren't doing to begin the season. So now they're starting to get some turnovers. They put a graphic up on the screen last night just talking about that. So when you can play defense like they're playing, you get turnovers and you're moving the ball, you're keeping the game close. And then, my wife was for Josh Dobbs last night. Obviously, my former team in Minnesota. He's playing really good to be there for 20 days. It's kind of unbelievable. The guy's really smart.
Rocked.
But I told my wife last night, I said, Russell Wilson's done this a bunch, and I guarantee you he's about to bring them back. And absolutely he did. They missed on the 2-point conversion, but they're playing really good. And I don't understand how you get 70 scored on you and he can keep that thing together like that. I mean, he's a Bill Parcells guy. He pulls no punches. He's already told Russell Wilson, hey, you need to quit trying to be the mayor and be a football player. And it's, Russell's bought in, and they're playing really well.
So I watched Buffalo yesterday afternoon, and like everybody, I'm wanting to see, okay, new offensive coordinator and Joe Brady. Ken Dorsey got shown the door last Tuesday morning. And I'll admit, in a week's time, it did look different. He was getting the ball out of his hands quicker. They've got a lot of talent. I was like, maybe they have found something.
It did. Obviously, they know a little bit more than we do. They're in the building. I just, they've had so many injuries on defense, but defense has been kind of their problem. And who calls the defense? It's the head coach. It kind of goes back to the same thing as I was saying. When a head coach feels pressure, he's going to put the pressure somewhere else. And he ended up firing Ken Dorsey. But like you said, with the Brady guy, they look totally different, George, the other night. I know that they're playing the New York Jets, but the New York Jets on defense are really good.
Yes.
And Quinnen Williams was over there hollering on the sideline. So maybe they found something. Obviously, Sean McDermott knew something that he needed to change in the building. He needed to get a new offensive coordinator. And I don't know, something looked different last night that me or you can't explain, but Josh Allen looked really good. And they had a poster up in the stands that said, "Let Josh Allen be Josh Allen." And I don't know. It was different for a reason last night, George. I don't know, but me being a former Bills, I got to clap my hands because they look good.
Let's
they
go
played well.
Buffalo.
That's right.
And then, has there ever been a team that more took on the character of its head coach than the Detroit Lions with Dan Campbell? Man, they are fun.
George, they're down 2 touchdowns with a little over 3 minutes left to go in the ball game. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And you gotta love what Jared Goff's doing. I mean, the guy threw 3 interceptions yesterday. Didn't play well, but that's what a head coach wants. Like he wants somebody that's going to stay in there. Everything's not going to go perfectly every game, every snap. And he turned the ball over 3 times yesterday, but in the end, he made the plays to get those guys back down there and to win that football game. So Detroit is a really fun team to watch. They're really good. They're ahead of that division, and it's the first time since the 60s that they've started off at 8-2.
I love it. So it'll be the first time their fan base has gone to a Thanksgiving Day game that really mattered.
Yes.
Since Nixon.
Since Nixon, you're right. I mean, this time bodes well for you because they hadn't done that since the 60s, guys.
Well, it's going to be weird. They're playing the Packers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that has drastically changed. Look, just 2-3 years ago, the Packers, if they were coming into Detroit, this is going to be a joke of a game. We're not watching this. All of a sudden, the Lions are 8-2. Packers are, they're probably
whatever they are.
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what they are. So it's just crazy how it can flip like that. And I think that is, going back to the Titans. I know we don't want to go back to the Titans.
No, we don't. Don't go there.
But that is how quick I think it can flip. And it hasn't been lightning fast for Lions, but he's done a lot in a little bit of short amount of time.
Hold on, you've said something though. Something about how quick it can flip.
Mm-hmm.
That's what scares me.
Positively or negatively.
That's what scares me in this Titans thing. I don't see how this flips quick.
I'm kind of with you, George. I don't either, man. I just cannot believe. Even Watson brought it up a couple of years ago. They won the division and they were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. And it happens fast. You can turn a team around fast, and then you can go rock bottom fast. And
can you turn this team around fast?
I just don't know, George. I don't think they've got it up front. They really don't. Who are you going to get up front? They don't have any offensive linemen to create holes for Derrick Henry or to protect Will Levis right now. I just don't see it being that way. Now, in the offseason, if they get some good free agents, if they got a lot of cap space, if they can get some good offensive linemen in here, yeah, maybe. But right now, no. I don't think so.
Talk, Billy.
I don't really see it either. As George coughs there. But, no. I think positively or negatively, though. We talk about it all the time. It just takes a quarterback. I want to say the Titans found their quarterback for the future. Okay, now let's see what we got from the offensive line perspective and go from there. So, I mean, I think that's where they're at. But like you said, Kelly, if it was opposite, like if they had the offensive line, they just needed a quarterback, I think it'd be a little bit easier. But you think you have the quarterback, but you really don't know because you can't get a good enough read on him.
I'm excited, and Will Levis has brought some juice to the team. He really has. He's brought something different. But I'm still going to pump my brakes on Will Levis right now. I'm not totally sure. I mean, it's a long process, Billy. You know that, and George, y'all know that about a quarterback. It's a long process, and he can make some things happen, but like they've got to get him fundamentally sound with his mechanics because some of the things that he does, it's timing. And I talked about that throw that he had, not this past game, but the week before, where he throws the ball to the tight end and he makes him jump on that middle screen. And if you don't make him jump, Wiley may score. He's got to turn around and he's got to find the safety. And if he doesn't have to jump up, so he's got to get his mechanics. He's got to, like, his elbow drops a bunch and he throws balls high sometimes. And when a receiver has to go jump for the ball, I mean, that's time where a DB is catching up with him. Whereas if you can hit him in stride, or if his feet stay on the ground, he can turn around and make a move on somebody. And that split second is a difference between a 5-yard gain or an 80-yard touchdown. So they've got to fix his mechanics. I'm going to pump my brakes on him a little bit. I think he's given the fan base, he's given the front office, he's given his teammates something to look forward to, but I'm not there yet. I got to slow my roll on that.
Okay, after the break, we'll get to stat of the day. The last time we were successful in stat of the day, Major League Baseball was about to announce playoff pairings. So it's been a while. It's not all our fault, Kelly. Questions have been ridiculous. If we grade on a curve, we wouldn't even do well. Then after that, a crazy weekend of college football with a lot to talk about, including who's going to win the Heisman Trophy. This one is going right to the wire. Hang with us.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. On Monday, November the 27th, I'll be playing host to the 3rd annual Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night here at the Strike and Spare on Lebanon Pike. Here's where I need your help. We have 64 foursomes that will play with 64 sports celebrities. We've done a good job in getting the foursomes, and now I need some of you as single players to...
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season. And it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. It has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Reaction Monday. We've got a lot of college football to react to, but first, stat of the day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. They're open during the week Tuesday through Friday from noon to 5 and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call, 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what Matthew's got cooked up for us. On Sunday, Brock Purdy had a perfect passer rating against the Buccaneers. Who is the only other Niners quarterback to have a perfect passer rating in a game?
We are absolutely going to nail this one.
Yeah,
Kelly, it's Steve Young.
Steve Young and Joe Montana, too, both of them.
Oh.
What do you mean both?
Joe Montana.
Who is the
only other 49ers quarterback?
Yeah,
it's either one of them, because I saw the stat last night come up on the deal. So it's Joe Montana and Steve Young.
Oh, so there. Take that.
Well, the answer is it's only Joe Montana.
Well, that's good enough. We got to win.
Steve Young was on there too. Steve
Young was on there too. And if I had to guess, I'm putting my confidence in CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Shall we now college football?
Let's do it.
3 o'clock hour. Here we go. Kelly, for the first time this year, I'm now totally buying in on Georgia. I've thought for a while it was play up and play down to the level of competition, but since they have gotten Brock Bowers back, they look like they truly are back.
Well, George, I think at the beginning of the year, I mean, they had there was a lot of SEC teams that went through this. Alabama went through it. They weren't sure, the Carson Beck kid played some, but he didn't play any really meaningful snaps. And everybody just thinks that, hey, they're just going to plug a guy in there. You had Stetson Bennett for the last 2 years, but they think that you can just plug in a kid and he can just keep going. And that's just not the case. He's got to kind of feel his way around. The coaching staff, they think they know what they have in him, but you don't really know how a kid's going to perform under pressure. And they've got to kind of figure out what he can do, what he does best, what he don't do best. So there's a filling out process. And I think that's kind of what you saw from Georgia at the beginning of the year. They were, they understand that Carson Beck played a little bit, but they don't really know for certain what they got. And they got to figure out what he can do good, what he can't do good. And I think they found that. I think Alabama found out the same thing with Jalen Milroe. I mean, he can do this good, but he's like a linebacker playing quarterback. And if we get him out and run him, I mean, hey, he can make some things happen with his feet as well. So Georgia's, man, I didn't get to see the game. I got to watch my SEC in 60, for Tony Basilio to kind of get track of all this stuff. But like, I kept keeping up with the score, and I don't think Georgia's missing a beat right now, Georgia. I really don't. They're still really good defensively. And the one guy that they needed back, he came back in an incredible amount of time, and he is a difference maker. He's going to be the first tight end taken. He's an NFL guy playing in college right now, and if they can keep him healthy, Man, they're still tough to beat, George.
Okay, let's get to the Tennessee part of it, because now I think you've got a bunch of fans saying this is a disappointment. They're 7-4. There's this big gap between them and the best, which is Georgia. If we look back and if we're honest about it, should Josh Heupel have, back at the start of the season, said, I don't trust Joe Milton, I'm going with Nico from the very beginning?
I don't know. I'm still trying to think about that whole situation, George. I think Josh Heupel's he's turning out to be kind of a loyal guy. Joe Milton came here, he transferred here. He was given the opportunity to start. I mean, if he would have played well to begin with when he started his career at Tennessee, he would have been the quarterback. But he allowed some discrepancies in his play, and Hendon Hooker came in there, took his spot, and I just feel like Josh Heupel has felt like, hey, this guy came in, didn't leave, didn't transfer again, kind of stayed in the
Loyal
program.
soldier.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he feels loyal to that. And I don't know. Obviously, he feels loyal to that, and he doesn't think that the Nico kid is totally ready, or he don't want to thrust him in there. Maybe in their team meetings and their coaching staff meetings, they said, "Hey, we're just going to ride with him because this may be a down year for us, and if we can get through this year with winning 8 or 9 ball games, then I think it's a plus for us." So you never know what they're thinking. I know that you want to win every game, but when you're a coaching staff, sometimes you have to be realistic about how you think about situations. And I kind of think that's what he felt. I think he felt like we might not be where we were last year. We might need another year. So maybe Joe Milton can play just good enough to be that stopgap for the Nico kid coming in 2024.
Okay, it's a much different story in that the talent around Milton on the outside is nowhere near what it has been. And once they lost Brew McCoy, that was sort of the final nail in the coffin.
Right.
Kelly, you know the answer to this way better than I do, which is why I want to hear it from you. This is my suspicion. My suspicion is that Josh Heupel has had to take about 60% of their offense and throw it in the trash can, because Milton can't make any of those throws. He can't put any air under a football. I mean, he's known for 6 years. We know he has a cannon, and that's wonderful. And by the way, you can give him all the pro invitations you want to give him, but if he can't learn how to put air under a football and make throws that everybody else has to make, he'll end up playing in the Arena League.
George, that's a pretty good assumption, man. I think that just like I talked with Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe, I think it's a filling out point of Joe Milton. You've been with him for a couple of years, but you've only had to play him in certain situations. He played really good in the Orange Bowl last year, but he had Jalen Hyatt. He had, he had the Tillman kid. He had those offensive linemen that were in front of him. When you lose guys like that on your offensive side of the football that are draft picks in the National Football League, that's pretty good talent. And when you lose that and you don't replace that, that's tough. So I think it was kind of a filling out period. But you may be right, George, because they figured out, hey, we can call these plays, but he's just showed us over and over and over again that he can't make these throws. So, 1 out of 10 ain't good. That's not a good percentage. So why are we calling that? Let's do the things that we think he can do, and let's just go with that, and then, let the rest fall where they may. So it's a tough situation sometimes for coaches because they've rode with this guy all year, but they know that he's limited in some of the things he can do.
Another thing is that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is their offensive coordinator is at USF now. And I think we kind of glanced over that. But like you said, Kelly, they also lost 2 NFL receivers, an NFL offensive lineman, an NFL quarterback. Like, there was a lot of change after last year. I think a lot of it was just glossed over. Said Heupel, he's an offensive genius. He can work with whatever. I think we learned that this system is not, God's gift of an offense. I mean, it's a good system, but they had great players. So I think we learned that about this Heupel scenario here, and all of a sudden, he's fine. He's not even close to really being on the hot seat. But if we see some of the same things year one with Nico, and then kind of year two, and can't get the right guys, because he was kind of handed Hooker, and he made something out of him. Credit to him. But I think we learned that the system is not as scary as we thought it might have been.
So
It's
Tennessee opens. Go ahead, Kelly.
George, it's like the old cliche that Tom Moore said, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and Joes. And they lost a bunch of Jimmies and Joes. When you lose 5 dudes on the offensive side of the football that are playing in the National Football League, that's a lot you've got to overcome.
So Tennessee is a 27-point favorite Saturday, and Vandy catches them in the perfect scenario. Bored, disinterested, everything that there has been to play for has now slipped away. But here's a dose of reality. It won't matter. Vandy can't do anything worth a damn, and so it'll be what it's been all year. It'll be somewhere in the 30s or the 40s, and Vandy will score somewhere between 10 and 16.
There's a 0% chance Vandy wins. Now, I think they can compete, but
compete to what?
To a certain level. I mean, maybe first half, but I don't see them really making it much of a game in the second half.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, guys. And George just said it. It doesn't matter what Vanderbilt does. They're just not going to. They can't stay with UT. It shows you just how much of a talent of the talent base has gone to is to UT's favor. I mean, you look at that, and they've been beaten by Florida. They got trounced the other day by Missouri, and they got beat by Georgia, and they're kind of the second tier. We've talked about that this year. They're the second tier of the SEC, but it's not going to matter against Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt just has not shown anything. They don't have the guys to match up with UT. Never really have. Some years they can, but it doesn't matter. This gets coming up Saturday.
Speaking of second tier, okay, if Alabama and Georgia are at tier 1, that picture right there is now at the top of tier 2. And who amongst us saw that coming?
Not I.
Man.
Not I at all.
Well, I think the thing is that's why they've been so good. They knew they were capable of this. Inside that program, and they knew they had a guy like a Burden and Brady Cook, and they had dudes, but everybody else was just kind of sleeping on them. And this guy Schrader has been a big part of that.
Now, they were lucky as all get out to win Saturday, and kudos to Missouri for escaping. But Florida gave them
in there.
Again. Florida, if you can figure
they
Florida
find
out,
ways to lose.
Go to Vegas and win a lot of money. God bless you. I can't figure Florida out. I do wonder what Billy Napier's future is there. By the way, interesting point that I'm hearing out of the Little Rock, Fayetteville area. Yesterday, Arkansas Athletic Director Hunter Yurchek, former Vanderbilt Marketing and Promotions Director, announced that Sam Pittman will be coming back. Now, people close to the old director are saying it's not because they wanted him back. It's called $11 million buyout. And apparently they couldn't come up with it.
What?
They don't have those. They don't have those little J.R. Ewings as Texas A&M does.
Not enough. Maybe the Walton family didn't. This is what I'm being told.
11 million.
11 mil
compared to 78 million. That my God.
Let's
different money.
Let's reenact.
I mean, it can't be that different.
Let's reenact what went on in the Board of Trust meeting. Mr. Holcomb, we're counting on you. They always use "we're counting on you" when they need your money. We're counting on you for $10 million. Can we count on you?
It's Texas A&M or this Arkansas?
No, this is A&M.
Oh, A&M. Oh, yeah, you can count on me. Yes.
Great. We're at $10 million. Mr. Derrick. Can you put yourself on there for a minute? My sheet says we're counting on you for 12.5. Can we count on you?
You got it.
Great. Mr. Fisher, gone. See ya.
At
That's
Arkansas,
exactly what happens.
Arkansas.
Now go to now reenact the Arkansas.
Mr. Holcomb, we're going to need 1.8 million. Are you in?
Yeah, no, I'm not good on that. I've got to put kids through school. Not happening.
Mr. Derrick, you're a young man. You've done very well for yourself hooking up with that talented broadcaster, George Plaster. Can we count on you for 1.2 million?
I don't think I can swing it, George.
Yeah,
We got this.
Screw you as well. Goodbye.
They got to get back to their pig farm in Arkansas. That's
Sam, you're sticking around. Good luck to you. You're staying.
Wow.
Let's see what else I got here. Heisman Trophy. Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels. Give me the winner.
Golly, George. I think it's going to be Bo Nix. I think it may be Bo Nix. I think he's the front runner. I mean, that guy right there hasn't lost a game, but it's all going to come down to the Pac-12 championship game. And I just think I think Bo Nix has got the upper hand. So right now, I really do.
Billy, think about this. When was the last time we had a deal where it was so obvious that a certain game between the top two, who are so closely bunched to begin with, would ultimately decide a Heisman?
It usually doesn't happen. Doesn't ever happen. It's usually a lot harder. I remember last year was a tough year. We talked a lot of talk about Hooker, and he wasn't invited late in the season. But this is almost as clear as it gets. But I think there's a guy, Jaden Daniels, that if he has another huge, he has another huge 400, 500-yard day, it's going to be hard to forget about him. Now, he'll be invited, but I still think he's got a good shot just because of his numbers. Now, I know they don't have as many wins. They're not undefeated. So ultimately, I don't think he wins it, but he's going to make it tough on the voters because, he's got as good of a chance, I think, to win it because of these heavy South, right? All those voters in the Southeast are going to be voting on Jaden Daniels, at least I think. And that, Hendon Hooker kind of got screwed over last year, so maybe it's not the best example, but Hooker got hurt. Daniels still healthy, so I don't know. I still think
I'm not buying what you're selling.
Well, I'm not either.
I think Daniels is. I mean,
I think he's had a Heisman kind of year. He really has. The problem is they're not high profile enough right now to get him that last push the way these two are going to get.
I'd like to go back Tebow when he won it, Lamar Jackson when he won it. They weren't as high profile as the other teams, but I wonder who were the other. What was the scenario that year?
Well, now remember, Tebow. Help me. Tebow win it the year they won the national title?
No. He won it when they were 9-3. They finished 10-3, I think. 9-3, won their bowl game, I guess, and then Lamar Jackson 9-3 season. Now there's not as much of a precedent for it, right? Those are the only other guys.
So let me ask y'all another question. Bo Nix is a Southern guy. Went to Auburn to begin with. I mean, do you think that the people feel as though he traded and left to go to Oregon, so they'll hold that against him, or will those voters down in the South still vote for Bo Nix?
I think they'll still vote for him. I mean, I don't see that affecting him too much, but I just think Daniels. There's a lot of respect for Jaden Daniels around the country, and
I just don't see that, Billy. I see it's a 2-man race between Bo Nix and the Penix kid at Washington.
Ultimately I agree, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as it's Penix or Nix. I think that Daniels and his voters, I think, are going to put up a fight. Not saying he's going to win it.
I'm not buying what you're selling.
Why not? I mean, Jaden Daniels he's having a historical season.
I think he's going to finish third.
And
I think he's had a great year, and the problem is they just were out of it too early. They were not in the mainstream, last 6 or 8 that were out there.
So George and Billy, does a guy like my former teammate and good friend who's in the Hall of Famer now, does a Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, has he got a shot?
Yeah.
He's a receiver.
Here's the thing, okay? They haven't thrown – I mean, he has not put up such – think about when Desmond Howard won it on that final day against Ohio State. He did everything, and then he gave the Heisman pose.
Yeah, running punts back and doing all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, for a wide receiver to win it, it would take – I was just thinking – it would serve Michigan right if Marvin Harrison did that when he scored.
Man.
Did that Heisman pose.
I hope he does. I may text his daddy and tell him to do it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, serious question. How does the committee view Florida State? Because maybe tomorrow they have made that decision, maybe they haven't, but at some point, they're going to be forced to say, what do we really think? And without that guy, can they compete at the highest level?
Well, they're going to they have the chances to show that right here. You got a good Florida team coming in to your house. Or is that in Gainesville? It's actually in Gainesville, I think. Either way, you got to play a good Florida team. Then in the ACC title, you got to play Louisville. So we're going to find that out in the next couple of weeks. And if they beat both those teams, they deserve to be in the playoff because they have shown that they can win without their quarterback. If they drop one, the discussion's over, right? So I think it'll sort itself out.
I don't think it's that simple.
You cannot leave an undefeated Florida State out of the playoff.
I don't think it's that simple.
How are you going to do that?
I think at this point, for this week, you got to keep it the same with the top six. Now, after next week, everything's going to change because you're going to have a winner in the Ohio State-Michigan game. You're going to see what Florida State can do against Florida. And it wouldn't surprise me if Florida, without Jordan Travis, goes and beats them. It really wouldn't. So I think a lot of this is going to be decided this weekend. But right now, tomorrow, I think the committee has to leave it like it is.
Okay, hold on, because this is different than what Billy's putting out there. Billy is saying if Florida State beats Louisville and Florida, there is no question they're in. And I don't think it's that cut and dried.
I think so, George. I really do. Like, if
how
they
do you
keep
leave them
going
now?
without the Jordan Travis kid, I think you got to put them in the top four. Now, if they fall off really bad and they beat Florida and they don't look good at doing Florida, I mean, because everything is a looks test. So if you don't look good beating Florida, you barely beat them, and Florida's had a very tough year, then I think things change.
Well, you're agreeing with me then.
Well, but here's the deal. I think Billy's talking about if they beat Florida and they win the ACC, I think you got to keep them in. I think you got to keep them in the top four. I really do. Because now you're talking about how they win games. If they don't look good, yeah, maybe that starts happening and they slide. But I think if they win both games, I think you got to put them in the top four. I really do. But I'm not sure without their quarterback they can do that. I really don't think so.
With Ohio State, the very first playoff, if you go back and remember, J.T. Barrett got hurt. Cardale Jones, the big question was, how are they going to look without him, without J.T. Barrett? Well, they go and beat Wisconsin 59-0, whatever it was, in the Big Ten championship. They get in as the 4 seed, and they end up winning the playoff, winning it all.
Okay, that's a wonderful fairy tale. But what happens if this game Friday night or whenever Florida State and Florida play ends up 20-19?
I mean, you won the game. I mean, that's
right. But is the committee going to view it that way?
I think they should. I mean, I don't know what they'll do, but I think if they go undefeated, they win these next 2 games, there is no way they are left out of the playoff, or they should be left out of the playoff.
Okay, we'll go to the break on that. Then we'll get Kelly's top 6, I guess it is, as it stands at this moment. As I look, not a lot of change. And then studs and duds. And let me say this about the duds. The duds deserve to be where they are this week. You'll love this. Hang with us.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs.
Okay, this is either the 6th the way Kelly sees it or the 6th the way he thinks the committee will put it together tomorrow night. Kelly, which is the truth?
I think it's both. It's the way I see it, and I think the committee sees it that way. Do you not see it that way, George?
Yeah, pretty much. Now, let me say this. In my heart, do I think Michigan is better than Ohio State? I do.
Okay.
Do I think
we'll find out. We're going to find out Saturday.
Do I think there's a possibility that Washington goes ahead of Florida State? Yeah, I do.
Could. And here's the situation, George. I'm not sure that Florida State can keep it up without their quarterback. I mean, that's a big loss. That kid was unbelievable. Like, he was a good player. He beat LSU the first game of the year. I mean, he can run, he can throw the ball. He got more comfortable. That was his first game of the year. He kind of struggled in the first half, and the second half turned it on. But that's a huge loss when you lose your starting quarterback, who I think he was in the Heisman race as well. I mean, his name was part of it. And then he has an injury like that. I don't think they can keep that up. And I would not be surprised if they get beat by Florida this week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, Billy, are we now ready for studs and duds?
We are.
Okay. Let me start with Jeff Brom at Louisville. This guy is one of the best play callers in the country, and I'm happy for him. The Brom family is the first family of Louisville football. There's a dad who has a history there. There are about 2 or 3 different quarterbacks, including Jeff, who have been there. This win at Miami deal, yeah, Miami hadn't played very well, but athletically they're better than Louisville. But Louisville found a way late to get it done, and they will now play Florida State in the ACC title game in about 10 days over in Charlotte. So kudos to Louisville. That's stud number 1.
Did you see that crowd in Miami, by the way?
Yeah, family and close friends.
Sections available.
Oh, Upper Deck was a tribute to Kelly. Sorry. How did this happen? Northwestern might just end up in a bowl game.
They will. They're 6-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about what we all thought in August when Pat Fitzgerald got fired.
We're eating crow because
man.
we were making jokes about them going 2-10.
And so Coach Braun has been rewarded with the news that he will be the real deal, not just the interim. And you know what? He's earned it.
You can recruit to this now too. So I mean, we went 6-5 when no one thought we would.
Here's another team you didn't see coming. Arizona took Utah behind the woodshed.
The most mentally toughest team in the country, Utah.
You have used that against me.
Well, you said it.
I know
you said it.
I know I did. It's time to eat a little crow. Arizona, in the second half of the season, has been in fuego. Man, have they been good.
Yeah.
Utah, my guess is, was a little disinterested. They had absolutely poured out the kitchen sink the week earlier in their loss at Washington, appeared to have nothing left, and Arizona beat the hell out of them. Now to Washington. I thought all along Oregon State was going to win this game, but Kelly, I got to admit a couple of things. Washington's pretty mentally tough, and Mr. Ukulele showed some of his Clemson past. Indecision, held on to the ball too long, didn't look like he was all that comfortable at times, and I thought that cost them huge.
Washington's pretty good, man. I was buying what you were selling to on the Oregon State deal because Oregon State's really good. But you're right, George. Like, you hate to say this about guys because I played the quarterback position, but a lot of the things that went on at Clemson have showed up at Oregon State with Mr. U guy. I don't even try to pronounce his name. How do you say that, Billy? Do you know how to say it?
Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
Well
That's right. He's a good player up until a point, George, and then it kind of like he melts in situations, man. I don't know.
He's got a little bit of Joe Milton in him.
He does.
Just kind of folds. He just, you don't feel like he can make the play that they have to have.
When he's decisive, he's decisive. But when he starts getting indecisive, man, he's not very good.
Yeah, because if you go back and watch that game through 3 quarters, he was pretty good. It was, he didn't make it, but late in the game, he was a no-show.
It was bad. Okay, let's get to the duds. Oh,
War Eagle, baby.
Wow.
So, Willie? I almost called you Willie.
Wow, that's a fine right there, Billy. $100.
Billy, how many times have I used the word Diego Pavia?
A lot.
Okay, and you've laughed at me every time I've done it. That kid's pretty good.
He is.
Auburn?
He's going to maybe be at an SEC school next year.
Can you say a tad bit disinterested? Maybe looking ahead to Bama? How crazy would it be
if they beat
if they lost to New Mexico State and beat Bama? I mean, I realize it's not likely.
Where's the game? Is it at Jordan Hare?
Yeah, which is the one reason it might be interesting.
Correct.
And Jerry Kill.
That Pavia kid may be at Auburn next year.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. But Jerry Kill, I had no clue he was. I totally forgot he was their head coach. He's done a heck of a job
in
this year.
National Coach of the Year stuff. He's got to be in the discussion.
No doubt.
Dud number 2.
Yeah, so George, one thing, I went to a game in Ole Miss when New Mexico State, and that was the worst team I'd ever seen in my life. And for Auburn to get beat, I know they've gotten better, but at New Mexico State, that's awful.
Well, it was bad. You give up 31 and you only score 10. So, I mean, it wasn't even anything. It's not like it was a shootout and you lost by 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a week where both New Mexico and New Mexico State were victorious. Fresno. Really? Come on. To New Mexico?
New Mexico's awful.
Oh, my God. You talk about the dregs of society. This is...
I'll say I didn't watch this game, George.
I'll say...
New Mexico, George.
Do what?
I said it's big for the state, man. I mean, they had 2 huge wins.
It's the best football weekend that state's had in a long time.
Sure is.
Yeah.
3rd on the list. Prime. Nice.
Prime's got no defense.
None. Whatever we saw in September has disintegrated.
Yeah.
He didn't look very happy in that picture, did he?
No, he does not. I will tell you this now. His son, I've been overly, pessimistic sometimes about his son, about when he talks, but that kid is tough as nails, man. He's getting hammered.
Oh,
yeah.
And he just stays in there, man. And the other day he got hit in his shoulder, and I think he was hurting his forearm, and they took him out of the game. But he was getting messed up behind that offensive line. They're really bad.
USC, in a tribute to Vanderbilt, basically watched the film of Vandy quit at South Carolina, and they went out and bought the same postage stamp and mailed it in. They were down by 25 to UCLA.
I thought they had more fight in them.
Fight on.
And UCLA got beat by Arizona State.
So Chip Kelly might have just saved his
job.
job.
Might have saved his job.
I think the wrong guy was on the hot seat. I think we need to start talking about Lincoln Riley in that seat.
Lincoln Riley, A&M.
Book it.
I'm just saying, it just seems like USC, it's not the right fit.
No.
Anyway, those are today's studs and duds. Kelly, I can see by your reaction how motivated you are by them.
Yeah, that was life-changing, George. Thanks.
Were those not good?
They were good. No, they were good. I mean, they were good. And you were right about the studs, and you were right about the duds. I just, you hate to see what's happened to Colorado. They were the talk of the town to begin the year with, and now they can't beat eggs. And then USC they can't stop traffic, but offensively they should be able to score more than 20 points.
No, that's a team. That's a team that went to the post office, got a stamp, and mailed it in. Okay, we'll go to the break, and then I want to make you some money on tonight's Chiefs Philadelphia Eagles game. I'll tell you how that one's going to go when we come back.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, Don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615 673 1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances, and Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com. Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615 673 1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, two words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Eagles Chiefs tonight. We'll see where George is going with Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Also, we have a final. Tennessee pulls away from Syracuse 73-56.
Wow.
So they move on in the Maui Invitational. And we'll have to see. I'll have to look at that bracket to see who they got next, but I'm sure we'll keep you guys updated there. But let's check out what happened over the weekend. What was it, 3-4 weekend?
Yeah.
Not bad?
Could have been better.
Tough NFL day yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, when are the Chargers going to fire Brandon Staley?
I don't know.
What are they waiting on? I mean, that team's got way too much talent to be where they are. They're 4-6 now? 4-7?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
He got into it.
Too
he
much
got into
talent.
it with a reporter,
I know he
too.
Did. I know he
Yeah, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that press conference where he got really defensive?
Yeah, that's usually not a good sign.
No.
Kelly, is it as simple? The Chiefs are only a 2.5-point favorite. And while it would be a gutsy call to go with Philly, don't you have to go KC at home?
I think so. I think you kind of have to go with KC at home. The Philadelphia Eagles are really good, but it's in Kansas City, and like I said to begin the program, that's a tough place to play. So yeah, I kind of think you have to go Kansas City myself.
Weather apparently might be a factor tonight with winds in the 20 to 25 mile per hour range. That would, on the surface, appear to hurt Kansas City a little bit. But who knows? I'm taking, this is a big shock, the Chiefs. The Chiefs at home, less than a field goal. If it loses, so be it. But this is the smart play.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Look at the graphic a little closer, Kelly. Billy, where'd you get all those $100 bills?
He's had that on there, George. Hadn't you had that on there?
Yeah, they've been on there. Not from my bank account, though.
Okay. Wow.
Those aren't mine.
Wow. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Anyway, that's what we've got. That's our show for a Monday. Tomorrow, Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville, and we'll talk about what the caller reaction was on Saturday, because it's one thing to get beat by Georgia. It's another to not be very competitive. And 38-10, once the great play happened early, from that point on, Georgia dominated. They just
interesting
did.
to see what he says, man.
Yeah.
I was watching. I was at the Troy game, and I kept on. And they started out the game, and they were leading. And I'm like, whoa, maybe they've come out to play.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just was 38-10. I'm like, yeah, that was another butt whipping.
All they had was 11 seconds of 7-0 lead in Dolly Parton's performance, even though the audio was really bad on that. But that's all they had yet on Saturday.
Billy, thank you for added perspective.
You got it.
We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same place. Kelly, behave.
Yes, sir. See y'all.
See all of you.